What's up, guys? Today, let's talk about a very controversial subject that a lot of people hate on, and it is weight cutting. Um, a lot of people think, that you hear a million excuses. Weight cutting is so bad. Weight cutting costs this person to lose the fight. Weight cutting costs that person to lose, or even they blame their own losses on the weight cut. Oh, it was a bad weight cut. This and that. Bad weight cuts do happen for sure. And I think a bad reload is even worse than a bad weight cut. After I worked with George Lockhart for off and on about 9 years. I mean, he's like a brother to me. And George Lockhart's one of the best nutritionists in mixed martial arts. And the emphasis, even more than the how to cut the weight, was always reload your body the right way after you weigh in. And, a lot of people, it's the fights I lost at the end of my UFC career, a lot of people, talk crap and say, oh, well, you had a bad weight cut. It was your weight cut. It cost you your chin. Justin Gaethje knocked you out, this and that. Well, first of all, Justin Gaethje's knocked out like 90% of the people he's fought. So what are the other guys' excuses? If I'm going to use a weight cut, is an excuse of why I got fucking knocked out, It's kind of, it's always a talking point that I really feel like a lot of people that don't fight, that don't get in there and compete, especially at a high level, always have something to say that how bad it is, isn't that, when they really never did it, or not did it at an extreme level. Definitely bad. But, when you're fighting, think about this. If you're in the UFC and you're getting, let's say, $50,000 payday, would you cut 20 pounds for $50,000, or are you going to be stupid? You know what I mean? And I honestly really do think it's most of the people that complain about weight cutting is people that don't fight, because fighters at a top level, they really understand and they know that it's a must. And you're delusional if you think you don't have to cut a bunch of weight to be a high level fighter. That's just delusional talking in 2023. I'll be honest with you. Unless you're special. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, everyone thinks they're special, but not everybody's Israel Adesanya. And Israel Adesanya still probably cuts a good, 15 pounds. He probably cuts down from 200 or so and weighs 185. And he's the best fighter in the world. Or definitely one of the top three by far in the world right now. So he's special. Very few people cut weight. Very few people can get by without cutting weight. It's that simple. They can't. It's a must in today's world in MMA. I would say boxing, people cut less weight than they do in martial arts, and in grappling, it really plays a big factor as well. Is when you get a naturally let's say you didn't cut any weight and you walk around at 170 and you don't cut weight, but the guy you're fighting walks around at 200 pounds and he realizes he must cut weight. And he has a college wrestling background. What do you think that dude who's naturally 30 pounds bigger than you is going to do to you when he grabs a hold of you? It's going to be rough. Equal skill, the bigger man wins. Should weight cutting be legal, or should you be allowed to cut as much as you are allowed to? Maybe that's a conversation we need to have. But as far as it is legal now, so you got to treat the world, the way it is and not the way you wish it was. So you definitely need to cut weight, guys. Like I would say the minimum, the average UFC fighter cuts 25 pounds over a 2 week period. I mean, not 2 weeks, I'm sorry, over a 2 month period. I would go this far as to say over a 2 month period, the average UFC fighter cuts 25 pounds in at least 2 months. No, they might not be cutting 40 or 50 like some guys do, but even the average ones are cutting 25 pounds over a 2 month period. And if you think that you're going to come in and fight at the weight you walk around at in the UFC, or ONE FC, or Bellator, or PFL, any of these big organizations, you're delusional. Equal skill, the bigger man wins. Weight classes exist for a reason. Now, ideally, we should all just eat clean. We should all eat clean year round and walk around lighter and not have to cut as much weight because we're disciplined. But in reality, it's a two-edged sword because fighters aren't like that. Fighters are hard-headed. Most of us come from poor backgrounds where we're not even trained or taught to eat clean. So we basically only do it when we have to. And once again, it's not ideal. It's dumb. We should just be disciplined year round And you see great martial artists who do, like George St. Pierre is a prime example that he walks around light because it's not because he couldn't get bigger. It's just because he's disciplined and lives, a real life of a martial artist and is disciplined. And fighters, especially MMA guys, like we're hard heads. We're hard-headed. We grew up poor. We grew up eating whatever we had available. So we still have that mentality, and then we only eat good when we have to. I don't really think eating clean. Also, I don't really think people understand that fighters. If we were so worried about our health, we wouldn't be fighting to begin with. So trying to appeal to a fighter about, oh, you'll feel better, oh, this is more healthy option for you, it doesn't usually appeal to a fighter very well, I'll be honest, because if we cared that much about our health, we wouldn't be fighting to begin with. It's just, that's just what it is. So ideally, you should just eat clean year round, but for the ones who don't, if you're not going to eat clean year round, you're going to blow up 20 or 30 or 40 pounds in between fights. Be ready to cut weight or be ready to get your ass whipped, because you ain't going to win. The heavier the weight classes get, the harder it gets. So you either got to be disciplined for a couple months and make sure you have a good training camp and eat clean during that time period, or you have to be do it year round. But either way, you're dumb if you don't cut weight, guys. I'll be honest with you. If you don't cut a decent portion of weight in today's mixed martial arts scene, you're not going to have a long career. And anybody who tells you different most likely didn't fight at the high level, or they happen to be super special where they can just pull it off because they're the most athletic or whatever the case may be. They have freak knockout power. They have crazy grip strength. There's always something. Anybody that doesn't go... anybody's like an outliner in a certain area, they always have some attribute. It's just that simple. A lot of the guys that start later in life usually have a certain attribute. But as a whole, those people are very rare, and the rest of the people have to really focus on the stuff that the majority is doing, which is cutting weight. Something to think about, guys. Let me know what y'all think, and leave some comments on any videos y'all would like me to go over, any subjects you'd like me to go over in the martial arts world.